Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain about the architectural design techniques. Okay. Under that, I'm going to explain the pipeline approach and the parallel processing approach, or we can also say that hardware replication approach. Okay. In the design of low power CMOS logic design, right? So in the previous discussion, I have explained that is VT CMOS and MT CMOS techniques to design the low power circuits, low power CMOS logic circuits, right? So, but these variable threshold CMOS circuits and at the same time multiple threshold CMOS circuits cannot be feasible in all the situations. Okay, all the situations are those are not the universal solutions to the low power CMOS logic design. That's why we'll go with the next one, that is architectural design techniques. Okay, so that's what here we have. While the VT CMOS and MT CMOS circuits techniques can be very effective in designing low power, low voltage logic gates, they may not be used as a universal solution to low power CMOS logic design. Okay, so in certain types of applications where variable threshold voltages and multiple threshold voltages are infeasible due to the technological limitations, the above problem can be rectified by using the system level architectural measures such as pipeline approach, and the second one is parallel processing approach or hardware replication approach. Okay, so now we are going to discuss one by one. That is, first I will take a pipelining approach. Okay, the above system level architectural measures offers feasible alternatives for maintaining the system performance despite of the voltage scaling. Okay, so now we have the pipeline approach. So this is the diagram what we have in the pipeline approach, that is single stage implementation of a logic function, and it's a simplified timing diagram. Okay, so here whatever the logic we required, that will be placed here, and the inputs will be applied through the resistors that are operated with a clock frequency of f clock, and at the same time the output of the logic function is also given to the register, and the output of that register we will consider as the actual output. So here we are using for a single stage, we are using that two registers, one is for input and another for is output, and the logic function what we require, and at the same time these two registers will operate with the clock frequency, that is f clock. Okay, so now we will go with the how it will be operate and how this pipeline approaching will be there. What is the circuit of that pipeline approach? Okay, we will see that. So first consider the single functional block as shown in figure, which implements a logic function. This one is the logic function of the input vector. Okay, so here this is the logic function, and we have here the input vector input here. Both the input and the output vectors are sampled through the register arrays driven by a clock signal of f clock. Okay, assume that the critical path in this logic block at a power supply voltage of VDD allows a maximum sampling frequency of f clock. In other words, the maximum input to output propagation delay tau p max of this logic block is equal to or less than, that is t clock, that is equal to 1 by f clock frequency. Okay, so here the propagation delay of the logic block is equal to what? The actual frequency or the time period of the clock. Okay, that is t clock, that is equal to 1 by clock. This one is the clock frequency and this one is the time period of each clock. Okay, that is t clock, that is equal to 1 by clock frequency. Okay, so here the propagation delay, that what is the propagation delay means here in terms of this circuit, the input applied input can take how much time to reach the output or to propagate the output is called as what? The propagation delay. The time taken by the input vector to reach the output is called as what? The propagation delay, or to propagate to the output is called as what? Propagation delay. So here the maximum propagation delay is equal to the clock frequency, or we can also consider that the time period of the clock frequency. Time propagation delay generally will represent in terms of the time. That's why here we will consider that 1 by f clock is equal to the clock time period. Okay, so the propagation delay, input to output propagation delay, tau p max is equal or less than that of the t clock. T clock here is nothing but 1 by f clock. Okay, now we'll have a new input vector is latched into the input register array at each clock cycle. For every clock cycle, what I am doing here, so I am applying that input 1. Suppose next after the clock cycle, I will apply another input, that is input 2. Like that, here a new input vector is latched into the input register array at each clock cycle, and the output data becomes valid with a latency of 1 cycle. Okay, so as we apply this the input for every clock cycle, so what happened is the output will be delayed by 1 clock cycle. Okay, that is nothing but the latency here. Okay, a new input vector is latched into the input register array at each clock cycle, and the output data becomes valid with a latency of 1 cycle. Immediately we cannot get the output for the given input vector, but the corresponding output we will get for every clock cycle, for 1 clock cycle delay or latency. Okay, so here you can observe clearly here the first clock is from this point to this point. 1 second. The first clock is from this point to this point. So after reaching the first clock, after applying the first clock, we will apply the input 1 to the registers, or latch the input 1 into the register. Okay, so this part is nothing but the input. So but we will expect the same in the same clock cycle the output, but here we don't have any output, but instead of that the corresponding output of input 1 will be obtained after 1 clock cycle. So this is the clock what we have. At this clock we are applying the input, but we are getting the output after completion of the clock. Okay, in the next clock we are getting the output. That means what? We are having a difference of 1 clock to get the output. That means the propagation delay here is nothing but 1 clock cycle. Okay, so that's what here you can clearly observe that here how this input will be propagate into the output. Okay, so after 1 clock cycle only we are getting the output for the given input. Okay, so that's what in this diagram that is shown. Okay, that means what? If input 2 is applied at the second clock cycle, so the output of that corresponding input 2 will be obtained in the third clock cycle. Suppose if nth clock is applied, okay, or n-1 clock is applied at, or we can say that n-1 input is applied. Okay, so we will get the output n clock cycles. After n clock cycles we will get the output. That is what here we have. That means for the input applying and at the same time output getting, okay, between those two we have the 1 clock cycle time period will be there. Okay, so that's what the latency, valid with the latency of 1 clock cycle or 1 cycle, right? Let the C total be the total capacitance switched every clock cycle. For every clock cycle, the total capacitance switched here is nothing but C total. I will consider the C total consists of the capacitance switched in the input register array. Input register array means this one. Okay, so in this input register means register is nothing but the group of flip-flops. So the flip-flops will be made with the transistors. Okay, gates and transistors. Gates will be formed with the transistors. So whatever it may be here, we will have the input capacitance, input register capacitance, and at the same time output array register capacitance. Okay, so here the C total consists of the capacitance switched in the input register array, the capacitance switched to the implement the logic function, and at the same time the capacitance switched in the output register array. So here we have two registers, that is input register array, and we have another register, that is output register array. Okay, so the total capacitance offered by this single stage is nothing but C total, and that consists of what? The capacitance that is present in the input register array, and at the same time the capacitance offered by the logic function or the required CMOS logic function, and the third one is the output register array capacitance. So here the C total will be consisting of these three, from these three devices. Okay, so this is the capacitance, the total capacitance in this single stage implementation of logic function. Okay, so here we have the timing diagram for this single stage implementation of logic function, and that it offers a latency of 1 clock cycle to get the output, okay, for the corresponding applied input. Okay, so this is what how this single stage logic function will perform. Right now we'll go with the pipelining approach. So the same stage here, we have here the same stage, I am repeating here. Okay, like this, right? Here the number of stages we are presenting, but at each point we have the registers, two registers here, right? So here this is the input register of this stage one, and its corresponding output register is this one. But here this output register of stage one will act as a input register for stage two, and so on n stages of logic functions we are placing here. Okay, so this is nothing but the pipelining approach, or the circuit that represents the pipelining approach. So this one is nothing but the single stage approach, and if you add this number of stages of logic function, n number of logic functions with their corresponding input and output registers, that will becomes the pipelining approach for us. Okay, so that's what here in this diagram. So this one is actually what we have considered the single stage. What we have considered is this one, single stage. After that, the output of that single stage is given to another stage, stage two, and so on. After that, the output of n-1 stage is given to the nth stage as the input. So like this, we will connect all these registers and the stages, different stages or n stages we have. Here we have input register of stage one, and this registered output register of stage one will be acts as a input register for stage two, and so on n stages we have. Okay, so the dynamic power consumption of the above structure can be found as, that means this structure can be found as phi reference is equal to the power consumption, dynamic power consumption reference is equal to the total capacitance VDD squared and clock frequency. Okay, the total capacitance multiply with VDD squared and multiply with the clock frequency. So this is nothing but the single stage, what we have discussed, single stage logic function power consumption, dynamic power consumption. Now what I am taking here, I am considering this single stage power circuits or single stage logic functions into n number of stages, so that it become pipelining approach. Okay, so here the logic function f input has been partitioned into n successive stages. Okay, in the previous one we have only one logic function. Here we have that type of logic function can be divided into n successive stages, and each stage we are applying the n-1 registers we have. Okay, for each stage we require two registers, but the output register of first one will be acts as the input register for the second one. Like that, the output register of n-1 stage will be acts as a output input register for nth stage. So here we require total of n-1 registered arrays. Okay, right? So here we have the logic function has been partitioned into n successive stages, and a total of n-1 register arrays have been introduced in addition to the original input and the output registers to create the pipeline. That's what I told. The total function will be divided into n stages, and at each stage we require an input and output register arrays, so that here we have n minus 1 register arrays we have introduced. Okay, now all the registers are clocked at the original sample rate, that is f clock frequency. So here also the latency will be obtained. So here the input one we are applying at the clock cycle, okay, where we are getting the output after n cycles. After n clock cycles we are getting the output, because first here I will apply the first input vector, so the clock frequency will be applied here. So after the first clock, the output of this one is applied to the stage one. After the second clock, like that, here we will get the first output of corresponding input one we will get after n cycles, n clock cycles. Okay, so that is the latency what we have, n clock cycles will have for to get the first output. Okay, for the given input value, if you connect all these n stages of logic functions, okay, you will get the first output of input one is after n cycles. Okay, n clock cycles you will get the output. In the diagram it is clearly indicated as like this. Okay, so here we have applied, at this point we have applied after n clock cycles we are getting the what, output one. Okay, so the latency is very high, that is not, the delay is very high, right? So now I will consider here all the registers are clocked at the original sample rate f clock. The all stages of the partition functions have approximately equal delays. Okay, if all are consist of equal delays, so the total propagation delay of the pipeline stage we will calculate it as tau p max input to the output by n, that is nothing but the time period of clock frequency, right? So tau p, the propagation delay, is equal to tau p max input to output. Why? What is input to output means here? The propagation delay, that is nothing but the time taken to reach an input to the output, the time taken to propagate from input to the output. That's why here I have mentioned that tau p maximum, the propagation delay, maximum value of the propagation delay to propagate input to the output by n, that is equal to the time period of the clock frequency. Okay, so this is what we have, tau p, that is the propagation delay of pipeline stage. Okay, so now we have here we have that previously what we have calculated for single stage. I have mentioned that p reference. Now we'll have the ratio of this p reference and the total pipeline power consumption. Okay, so here if you consider p pipeline, that is the total power consumption or dynamic power consumption of the pipeline structure by p reference. The reference means here single stage one. Okay, so here C total, the total capacitance, plus n minus 1 C registers multiply with VDD new square f clock by C total VDD square f clock. So here if you observe this one, the reference stage is this one, this is single stage. So that power consumption P reference is equal to C total multiply with VDD square and f clock. But here this type of single stages we are connecting n stages. So n registers we are using n minus 1 registers, and each consists of what? Each consists of some capacitance. Okay, we have to consider that capacitance, and at the same time another capacitance is also there. So because here the logic function has been partitioned into n successive stages, and the total number of n minus 1 registers excluding the input and output stages. Okay, output registers. Okay, in addition to the original input and output registers to create the pipeline. That means what? Here we have two capacitances here. One is what n, if you consider n stage pipeline structure, we have two capacitances, the total capacitances of input and output registers and the logic function, and at the same time n minus 1 array of registers or register arrays capacitance we have to consider, while calculating the power consumption of that what we call pipeline structure. Okay, so that's what here we have. P pipeline by P reference is equal to C total, means what we have discussed at this point. So this C total is nothing but the logic function capacitance and input register array capacitance and output array register capacitance. Okay, but here we have to calculate the pipeline approach dynamic power consumption. We have to include this n-1 registers what we are going to use. The capacitance of those n-1 registers we have to include while calculating the total pipeline power consumption. That's why here it is C total, that is the capacitance of the total capacitance of the input and output registers including with the function, plus n-1 into C registers. That is C registers is nothing but here the capacitance of each register. Okay, and n-1 means we are using n-1 register arrays. That's why n-1 into C register and VDD new square and F clock. So if you use here single stage, we are using VDD, but here that type of stages we are using n-1 stages. Okay, so to calculate that means if you want to operate complete pipeline approach, means you have to increase the VDD. So that's why here I am taking that VDD new square multiply with F clock by P reference. Reference value is nothing but total capacitance VDD square multiply with clock frequency. But here this VDD is different from this VDD because this VDD is for single stage we are using, but this one is for the multi-stage. Okay, multi-stage, or we can also say that for the pipeline approach. Okay, so that's what here we have about this ratio of pipeline approach power consumption to the reference or the single stage power consumption. Okay, so if you simplify this one here, we will get is if you divide this with C total, okay, it is 1 plus 1 second. So if you divide this one, it is C total by C total. We will get it is 1 plus n-1 C registered by C total multiply with n-1. It is VDD new square by VDD square. Okay, so I will get here C total by C total plus what we have here n-1, and remaining is nothing but C register by C total. Okay, and we have remaining is VDD new square by F clock, and F clock will be cancelled here. So this frequency clock frequency and clock frequency will cancel, and what we have here VDD new square by VDD square. So that's what we here we have. So if I divide this one with the C total VDD square or clock frequency, that is the reference stage clock frequency. So this C total and C total will cancel, that is 1 plus C register by C total multiply with n-1, and F clock and F clock will cancel. The remaining is VDD new square by VDD square. So that's what I have written here. Okay, so this is about what we have the pipeline approach, and if you consider the power consumptions, or if you divide with the pipeline approach power consumption with the single stage approach or the reference approach, you will get the ratio as like this: 1 plus C register by C total into n-1 VDD new square by VDD square. Okay, so now we have here the architectural modifications described here as a relatively small area overhead. Okay, so because here we are using n number of pipeline stages and we are using n-1 registers, due to that there will be a area will be increases, right? A total n-1 registers arrays have to be added to convert the original single stage structure into pipeline. Okay, because of this n-1 registers arrays, so the area will be increased while trading off area for low power. If you neglect or if you don't consider that area increasing to convert that one as low power, this approach also increases the latency from 1 to n clock cycles. So I have shown that in the diagram here, we are getting the output after n clock cycles. So that's why here we are getting the output. If you observe, at the clock 1 we will apply input 1, next at clock 2 we will apply input 2, like that we are applying at 10th clock, we are applying the input 1, input n to this structure. But where we are getting the output 1 of the first input 1 is nothing but after n clock cycles. Okay, that means what, the delay will be n clock cycles to reach the input to the output. Okay, so that's what here. While trading off area for low power, this approach also increases the latency from 1 to n clock cycles, right? In many applications, such as in signal processing and data encoding, latency is not a very significant concern, so we can neglect that latency here. Okay, now what we have here is nothing but the next one we have is parallel processing approach. Okay, so till now what we have discussed here is nothing but why we go with this architectural design technique, that is nothing but pipelining approach and parallel processing approach. Okay, so after that one I have explained about the single stage pipelining approach, and what is the clock frequency and what is the latency we have here. So here we are getting one clock cycle uh, of propagation delay to transfer the input or to propagate the input to the output. Okay, so that's what here. And we have here the total capacitance is provided by all these three devices, that is input register array and the output register array. Okay, and at the same time the capacitance of the logic function, right? So after that we have the equation of the single stage dynamic power consumption, and after that we are combining, we are dividing that logic function into n stages by inserting that n minus 1 register arrays, including with the input and output registers. Okay, so this will increases the latency, that is to n clock cycles, and at the same time the area is also increased in this one, right? So that is what here we have the pipeline approach. And if you consider the ratio of pipeline approach to the single stage, you will get this one, that is 1 plus C register by C total and minus 1. Here C register means the capacitance of each register array, like that we have n minus 1, so n minus 1 C register value we have. And VDD new square is nothing but this VDD new square is what, if you want to drive a single stage, the voltage required is VDD, but here we have to drive this n minus 1 register arrays, including with the n stages of the circuit. So that's why we have to increase that power supply. So that is VDD new square by VDD square. Okay, so that is what here we have the about the pipelining approach in the architectural techniques. Okay, thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel.